Getting healthy while you're working a full-time demanding job, have an early start time, and you've got a full life, that doesn't end up being a motivation problem to show up, really. It's a planning problem that happens for a lot of people. And for a long time, I was trying to solve this planning problem with motivation. And I was wondering why nothing was sticking, why I would start time and time again, year after year, getting into a season and a chapter of life where it would have been easy just to say this is the way life is just going to be. You know, you're going to be overweight, overwhelmed, overworked because, man, you're heading into your 40s. You know, that was the chapter of life I was in. I don't know if you've ever had that where you're getting to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, I just can't do it. Well, that season, it finally changed things for me when I found a better workout. Well, it wasn't necessarily a better workout, and it wasn't even a better eating plan, but it was where I stopped leaving my health to chance. And I stopped blaming all the other things around me of why things weren't working. And I really started deciding and committing to exactly what it was that I was going to do the next day and how I was going to show up. And I'm going to share with those 6 things with you so that you can look at your 6 things and say, you know what, I'm going to do this for my own health, my own fitness, my own goal, whatever the goal is. So I'll walk you through a system that really made a big difference for me in the busiest, craziest, wildest season of my life. And before we get into all that great stuff, if your health feels squeezed, compressed to where you just can't seem to figure a way out, and just head over to talktoperry.com and let's build a system together around your actual life and your chapter, whatever you're in that season of life, so that your health steps, so that you can reach your health and the health goals that you want, and it can be the thing that gets you to your goal instead of what's left over. That's over at talktoperry.com. Boy, that was a mouthful there. So during this season that I had to be, here was the deal. You know, as a full-time teacher, but I also had an hour commute to get to work. And what I had done was I got into this ritual where I would commute to work, and then I got back home from work and I was getting my workout in the afternoon, right after work. But things started to get busier and I needed a different plan. I needed a different way. And I had really talked myself into telling myself I'm not a morning person. To exercise in the morning would be crazy because I got to be out the door by 6. And I was doing hour-long workouts. I was doing them from home, so I didn't have to go to the gym or anything like that. But I was doing hour-long workouts, which meant I was getting up kind of early. And so the workout had to happen then, otherwise I would eventually figure out a way to get it in later on. But you know what? I was committed to making this work. And so this meant getting to bed at a decent time too. And it meant having the decision to make things simple for food options during the week, because everything really depended on all of this. So here's what I started changing, and here's what I stopped doing. It really changed the whole thing. So every night, well, I would say every night before I went to bed, I knew what I was going to do the next day, but I had planned out the whole month of what I was going to do for workouts, so that when I got up in the morning, and I set my alarm clock for maybe 4, so I had to get up, I got some coffee in me, and so, did some water, had some water, got hydration, of course, but then got into doing the workout so that I can get showered and get my lunch for the day and then head out the door. So this, I couldn't make it just a wish list of what I hope to do. It wasn't a vague intention or anything like that. There were 6 specific actions that I did each day. If you can do these in order, oh my gosh, even better. Not to say that you're painting yourself in the corner or you're just being super, super strict. It was just some essentials that I wanted to do to still work on my health, work on my fitness. So the first thing I looked at was water first. I told you about that. So I'm setting the alarm. I'm getting up at 4, not hitting the snooze button. I gave up that. Also gave up the story I was telling myself of I'm not a morning person. So I didn't get up and be like, oh my gosh, it's all morning. I gotta do this. I decided to eliminate that story because it was not serving me. I wanted to get up, have my workout done. So I was testing this out for 30 days to see if I could, how this would work. The water got done. Or I got water in me, took care of the pets too. And then I got in and got that workout going. Now, my mind wanted to resist a lot of the workouts because they were an hour long and many of them intense. And it would be really easy to say, oh, I'm not feeling it today. But how can I do that? Because my day is just starting. How can I know what I wasn't feeling? Well, I could easily talk myself into that. But I did that, then got showered. And here's another thing that I started doing. And this turned out to be something that I thought would be a big pain, but it turned out to simplify everything. Was I took my lunch to work every day. I didn't do carry out or grab and go at a drive-through or anything like that. I took my own lunches, but I did not spend each day making my own lunch. I did that on Sundays. I would meal prep on Sundays. I would grill chicken. I would have some vegetables ready, and I would put these out in little containers. So all I had to do in the morning was grab those containers out of the freezer, and then they would be thawed out by the time I was ready for lunch. About the only extra thing I might have done, I think I had an extra, like a protein shake of some sort that I quick made in the blender while I was letting the dogs out, and then I had that in the thermos. Boom. That was another thing. Another thing that worked, and I won't say that I did this super intentionally every day, but it was to just get out and walk with the dogs, or get out and maybe I'd bike around with the dogs or anything like that. The dogs really got a kick out of me getting on a bicycle and then biking around, and then they can run, right? So it would just be getting out with the pets. I had 3 dogs at the time. Might have been 4. But I was just getting out to do this. So the other thing that I really started honing in on, and I kind of resisted because it's really easy just to get into your nighttime routine, I created a bedtime. Now, because I was getting up earlier, and the alarm's going to go off at 4 o'clock, I was getting tired earlier in the evening. So having a set bedtime, I think it was maybe around 9:30 or so. And when it got toward the summer days, then it was a little bit more challenging with the daylight stuff. But during the winter, no problem whatsoever. I mean, it's dark by like 4 or 5. So that was the big deal that I did there. Every Sunday would come, and I'd have my groceries there. It was meal prep Sunday, maybe an hour and a half in the kitchen. I made simple meals, and sometimes you might have even thought they would be boring, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're eating the same thing. But I had a system that meals that I liked. I was doing a protein shake, but I also was doing like grilled chicken or maybe ground turkey or something like that, some vegetables or maybe a salad. But I would prep that out. I would divvy it up. I did the same thing with my supplements. Instead of each day saying I got to open this canister, container, I would lay out 30 little baggies, and I would divvy up my supplements across those baggies. And so I could quickly grab those and go, or take them right away in the morning and not have to sort through a bunch of bottles. So I just looked for shortcuts, for time savers. Having the food ready meant that my decision was already made. Having that non-negotiable workout in the morning, I had that. Hydration right away. Now, I was hydrating all through the day too, but it just made one healthy choice after another, super easy to make, and all the thinking was done in advance. And what made this system, just the fact that it wasn't complicated. It was what I intentionally decided. It was something, because I made it simple, I knew I could commit to. I knew it could be sustainable, as opposed to a lot of times we over-research things, we overthink things, we overcomplicate things. And then when life kind of goes sideways, it's hard to carry out. I made things happen to where they were easy to carry out even when life went a little bit sideways, even when life got a little bit busy, even when I didn't feel like it. The list did the thinking already. All I had to do was show up and follow through. Now, that is a mindset strategy to that too. But here's the thing that really surprised me most. When the workout happened first thing before the day got really busy, everything else felt manageable. I got home and I didn't feel like, oh, I got to get this workout in or anything like that. It was already done. Then energy felt better throughout the day. I was really surprised about that. I had heard about it, but I really didn't expect to notice it that much. The workout wasn't just a workout. It was the thing that set the tone for everything that came after it. That was huge. And getting the workout done before the day got hold of me, it changed the whole equation. Instead of trying to squeeze it in at the end of the day or feeling like I was losing the battle or feeling like I've got to do doubles the next day because something took me off course, doing it first thing meant it was done before those excuses could even pop in. Now, I've talked and mentored a lot of people about shifting to doing, before the day gets started. And I agree, do your workouts when you've got the most energy. But when you find yourself negotiating with yourself over and over and over again, test this out for 30 days. I did this with a friend of mine. She was an accountant. It was middle of tax season. She told me how busy she was. She was working late nights. I said, hey, we're going to get up 30 minutes earlier and you're going to get your workout done. And she froze. She's like, no way, I can't do that. I need my sleep. And I'm like, test this out for 30 days. Those things that I just told you, the benefits, it magnified things for her. She had more energy. She got her work done. She got her workout done. She had more, she lost the weight. And she was more productive at work. And those long days didn't seem nearly as long and dragging on her energy because she set up that system. But until she went through it and did it and really worked on those mindset limitations, once she set that aside and said, you know what, I'm just going to do this for the next 30 days, see how it goes. All of a sudden, she did that for at least a year that I know, where she was checking in with me every day. So, hey, the system is simple. Just do this for yourself. Write down 6 of the most important things for your health that you need to do. What are the 6 most important things? And then rank them in order. Start with number 1. Don't overthink this. And just decide tomorrow, you already know what tomorrow's supposed to look like. Just do that. Once that first part's done, do the second part. So for me, I did the water, then I did the workout, then I got the meals done. Now I was doing that on Sundays, right? But it was one thing after another that I was getting done and just stacking up those wins. If 6 seems like too much for you, pick 3, okay? You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. You could drop those down in the comments. I promise I will reply. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness Community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find the show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and
just to let you know you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast. And always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.